Welcome to The New Monks. This podcast is dedicated to those of us on the journey of evolution. Through these episodes, we will dive into the lives of individual people and discover what they have learned and how they have handled their growth. So I spent a month in India, and a lot of that time was spent in Mumbai, where I met this charming young man called Roshmin. And in this episode, we talk about his Buddhist meditation chanting practice, which he has been doing every day for the past 12 years. And we really discuss how that fell into his path and how it completely changed his whole world and crumbled his foundations and way of existing, and how Buddhism is not just about changing for yourself, but also caring about the growth of other people around you. And we talk about what Buddhism means for him. I hope you enjoy this episode, and also some of the words and phrases that he uses are of his mentor Daisaku Ikeda or Nichiren Daishonin. Okay, those are hard names to pronounce, but I hope I did okay. And bear with us with the Indian surround sound in the background, because it's kind of impossible to find a quiet space, but I think it adds to the atmosphere. Enjoy. Just first of all, just want to say thank you so much. And usually how we start is if you can just take a few deep breaths in and out.
This feels good.
And then just tell us how you're feeling right now.
I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Yeah, I chanted like for 45 minutes.
Today?
Yeah, I woke up at like 7:30 a.m. I went for a meeting. I then came back, I had another meeting. So it's like Buddhism meetings. So that's the best way to start the day for me.
That's a long time.
What do you mean?
45 minutes.
45 minutes? I normally chant for 3 hours a day, 2.5 hours a day.
Usually. Wow.
Yeah.
What are the Buddhism meetings?
Well, it's just that you go and chant with people.
Okay.
You go and chant and study with people and sort of solidify your faith. And basically what happens is when you chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, you basically defeat your fundamental darknesses, your negative tendencies, your limiting patterns, and you're really able to press restart every day.
Love that.
And take your foot off the brake and press hard on the accelerator,
Yeah.
So it enables you to resolve inner contradiction, feel a lot of joy, feel light, almost as if like a lion walking through the jungle with ease.
Love that. That's
Yeah.
so cool. Love the analogy.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you started here, because I feel like this is where we should start.
Nice.
The Buddhist practice.
Yeah.
How did you stumble across it?
I was living in Holland when I was 19, and I moved back to India.
What were you doing in Holland?
I was on a cultural exchange program.
Okay, cool.
Cultural exchange program. A glorified holiday, basically. No, I'm kidding. It was like an exchange program where you like stay with different like Dutch families. You get to know the culture, the people, the food, the vibe, and you just and then somebody from there comes to your country and your home.
Yeah, swap.
Swap.
How long were you there for?
A year.
Wow, that's quite a long time.
Yeah, I was there for a year, and I shifted 3 families. I shifted 4 or 5 families. I was supposed to just have 3, but I had more than 3, which was great because I got to understand, the dynamics and fiber of Dutch culture. Really interesting, amazing culture, beautiful country. And yeah, so I was there for a year. It was phenomenal. And then I moved back to India, to Pune.
Yeah.
And my family, to my family. And I was about 17. Yeah, 17. and I started basically doing a lot of drugs. I mean, like, I was like probably doing like cocaine, Molly, LSD, hash, and drinking. I was probably like doing all of that in one evening.
What?
Yeah, all of that. So it's like, I was like really going super, super hard. And as a result, my behavior started to shift. I was all over the place. If you do a lot of drugs for a decent amount of time, it messes with your entire wiring and your thought process, the way you feel, what you do in your day, how much you sleep, what you eat, your energy levels, your mood swings, everything changes, right?
So true.
When you do a fuck ton of drugs.
Yeah. How long were you doing it for? Like,
I don't know, man. Must have been a year. Like just like ape shit, AWOL, and going for it. And what happened was, my mom started to chant. Somebody introduced my mother to Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism. And my mom, I saw she changed quite rapidly from somebody who had a bit of a temperament or like a anger issue. I don't want to call it an anger issue because she was just reacting to her environment, and her environment at that point was me.
Yeah, okay.
So she was reacting to me, and she was just like, so I'd see her get really mad really quick, and like, obviously, understandably so. And then she was chanting for me a lot. For me to start chanting, I think you can do that. You can chant for somebody who was going through anxiety, who's depressed, who's about to go into a surgery. You can chant for them, and it will deeply impact their state of life. It will enable their Buddhahood to emerge, which is their highest potential, or the highest version of themselves to emerge, which is characterized by absolute happiness, clarity, joy, wisdom, compassion, empathy. And so she was chanting for me quite a lot, because she saw I was going through a bit of a situation where I was like a self-fulfilling prophecy, and if I didn't stop it, I would probably, I was going nowhere fast and it would end badly.
Yeah.
So then one day I reluctantly started chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo with her. Half to prove her wrong, half to just check it out.
I love it.
Right? And boom, within that week I began to feel an organic shift in the way I was thinking, what I was feeling, what I was doing, potential, achievement, progress, all these things began to emerge in my mind. And what happens is anybody who starts chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, they're, even if it's with ill intent, there's a lot of ill intent flowing through them.
Yeah.
Right? Or there's a lot of fundamental darkness.
Yeah.
Or there's a lot of negativity. It starts to begin to turn into positivity. So poison begins to turn into medicine. That's the innate power of chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, which is based on the Lotus Sutra, which was the highest teaching of the original Buddha who gained enlightenment in ancient India under a tree, as stories tell and historians sort of. So I started to chant, and I started beginning to feel very different, and things started to change. And I attended a meeting. I saw people who were like, first of all, I was like, how are people so happy? Like, when you go to these meetings, you meet people who are like glowing.
Yeah.
Glowing, so vibrant, so joyous, just like shining. And you're like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Are they really happy, or is it fake? Are they pretending?
And how are they doing that?
Through chanting and practicing Buddhism.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if your problems that normally are the size of a meteor or like a skyscraper become the size of an ant, because you become so powerful and incredibly strong within you, because of this dynamic energy welling forth from the depths of your life. And it's not like some make-believe, try to be happy, fake it till you make it sort of bullshit. It's really a real dynamic energy sort of comes gushing forth from your inner life, which just leads you to a day filled with clarity and joy.
Love that. So what is the tradition of Buddhism? What's it called?
So this is Mahayana Buddhism.
Okay.
So there are two types of Buddhism.
Yeah.
Hinayana and Mahayana,
Yeah.
which was founded by the original Buddha. Now, Hinayana Buddhism is Buddhism that is quite far away from reality, not very applicable.
Yeah, and this is more practical.
Mahayana Buddhism is very practical, rooted in daily life.
Yeah.
The purpose of Buddhism is really to become happy, to win.
To win.
To win,
Love that.
Yeah, and it's to show concrete proof in your daily life
Yeah.
of how to become the best version of yourself, an amazing human being who can impact society and the lives of those around them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes people are involved or steeped into maybe a philosophy or a school of thought that focuses so much on them that it sort of takes away the humanity out of it, which is that
like the interconnection.
Right, that the true greatness of religion or the true essence of a philosophy is about impacting other people.
Yeah.
And I honestly feel like greatness lies in touching the lives of those around you, to be able to enable them to win and reach their highest self and really enable their highest potential to blossom. That is the definition of greatness for me. And that's the definition of life, you know, in every spectrum.
Yeah, and like the reason why. Because like if you're doing it for yourself, what's the point?
Right, right. I mean, the point is, like in Buddhism also we talk about how, you know, Nichiren Daishonin talks about how if a person transforms their state of life, if they begin to live with more wisdom, courage and compassion,
Yeah.
that means that they will be able to influence and impact lives of those in their workplace, their
Yeah.
families, their friends, their communities, and enable them to also live with more wisdom, courage and compassion. Who will then influence their friends, who will then influence their circles, who will then influence their farther orbit.
Yeah.
So what that means is that you're actually impacting society on a large scale when you're able to impact the life of one person.
Yeah.
So that means changing humanity lies in cherishing and respecting and transforming the life of that one person in front of you, right?
Boom.
Boom shakalaka.
Boom selector.
Boom selector. Pre-selector.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah. And I think it happens so naturally because you just make this shift and then all of a sudden, like you said, people start noticing and then like, hang on a minute, how's he doing that? You know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then they're
exactly.
intrigued. So, and then underneath Mahayana, what is it?
So Mahayana Buddhism is
Because there's quite a few different things underneath that as well, right?
right.
Yeah.
So you know, Buddhism was founded in India, and then Shakyamuni, who was the founder of Buddhism, Gautama Buddha, he was immortal, he passed away, and then Buddhism spread from India to Korea, to Tibet, to China, to Japan, and you know, along the way, many of the people took to Buddhism and sort of made it their own.
Yeah.
You know, and different sects formed. That's how religions branch out, right? Different sects were formed, different branches got created. Many of which were not applicable to daily life, rooted in society. So, that's where the distinction between Hinayana and Mahayana Buddhism became even larger, and it became even more separated from each other. So it was clear to see what is the significance of Mahayana, what is the significance of Hinayana.
Yeah.
You know, the Mahayana Buddhism is basically like the Lotus Sutra, right?
Okay, cool.
Which was Gautama Buddha's teaching.
Which is what you practice.
Right, which is what we practice. And the Lotus Sutra was Gautama Buddha's highest teaching, Shakyamuni Buddha's highest teaching,
Okay.
which he didn't preach till he was 72.
Wow.
So he gained enlightenment at the age of 30. And then for many years he preached pre-Lotus Sutra teachings, you know, because he felt the time and capacity of the people wasn't right. Just like if you give like a 2-year-old baby an apple, right? It doesn't have teeth, can't bite into the apple. Try and bite into the apple, it'll hurt him. He'll remember the taste of the apple forever, and he'll resent the apple. But actually when he grows up, he realizes that, whoa, an apple's actually good for me. Because it has gum healing properties, it's nutritious, it's a fruit, it's good for you. It's good for your stomach lining, whatever, etc. So, but he'll resent the apple. Similarly, Shakyamuni felt that if I preached the correct teaching at the wrong time, it could actually be disastrous.
Yeah.
Because they won't be able to receive it the way it's supposed to be received, and then they'll badmouth it, then they'll resent it.
Yeah.
Which will lead Buddhism away from them, which is not good for them.
Yeah.
So he waited. He waited till he was 72 years old. Then he preached the Lotus Sutra. And then when he preached the Lotus Sutra, And then after that, he of course passed away, and the Lotus Sutra then spread. And it wasn't until 12th century Japan, when there was a sage called Nichiren Daishonin, who came across the Lotus Sutra and studied it with his life.
Wow.
And he expounded that Nam Myoho Renge Kyo is the crux of the Lotus Sutra, is the juice of the Lotus Sutra. Myoho Renge Kyo is the title of the Lotus Sutra, and Nam is the same place that Namaste comes from, a Sanskrit word, which means bow, dedicate, to pray to. So, and then he declared that chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo is the vehicle for all people to attain an absolute state of life, to awaken Buddhahood within them, which is characterized by the virtues of the Buddha, aka wisdom, courage, compassion, clarity, empathy.
And what does that actually translate to?
So Myoho Renge Kyo is the title of the Lotus Sutra, and Nam is the same place, Namaste, right? So it's like I pray to the Lotus Sutra. But the words also have separate meanings, individual meanings. Myo means to open, to revive, and to be fully endowed.
Yeah.
Which means that fully endowed means that Jess, as a person, has everything she needs to become the happiest, most fulfilled, most joyous, most victorious human being.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that she needs exists already within her. She doesn't need anything on the outside. Mm-hmm. Right? So you're fully endowed with all, the whole universe exists within you. Right? To open and to revive, which means that when one chants Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, right? What happens is the sound of the chant awakens that inherent potential in your life, which then ripples and translates into every department, right? So that's what Myo means, to revive. So that also means that any mental or spiritual or physical condition can be revived and transformed by the chanting of Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Myoho also means life and death, which signifies the Buddhist view of the eternal cycle of birth and death.
Yeah.
Right? And how it talks about how life is eternal, and that this is just one of the countless existences, that we have, this current life. And it also sort of intertwingles into the, I don't know if that's a word, it intertwines into the concept of karma, which talks about how karma is an accumulation of thoughts, words, and deeds from our previous lifetimes up until this life. So everything is an effect of karma. So everything is cause and effect. So Nam Myoho Renge Kyo is basically the mystic law of cause and effect, which means that if there is smoke, that's an effect. The cause is fire. Mm-hmm. Similarly, our lives currently, this moment, is an effect of causes made in the past. Mm-hmm. So the Nichiren Daishonin said that if you want to look at your current life and understand why it is, you look at the causes that were made in the past. Previous lifetime, this lifetime, up until this point. If you want to look at your future, you look at the causes you're making in the present. And I think many religions have that as the basis. Christianity also has that, where it says, as you sow, so shall you reap. In Hinduism, they say, Jaisi karni, vaisi bharni, which is like, how you do is how you receive. So it has hints of it in all religions, right? That it's the karmic cycle of cause and effect. So, but the worldview of karma really is that it can't be changed. But Nichiren Daishonin's Buddhism is so revolutionary and progressive because it says that just as a person can change her karma, she can transform her destiny, she can greatly alter the trajectory of her life in every possible department, in her whole, in everything that she desires and wants to accomplish. She can change it. And she is the protagonist on this stage. There's the drama of her life. Mm-hmm. She's the lead actress. Right? Nice. So that's Myoho. That you can change your karma. You can expiate negative karma. Renge is the lotus flower. The lotus flower is the only flower that seeds and blooms at the same time. There's no other flower that does that. That represents the simultaneity of cause and effect. That means that when a cause is created, the effect is simultaneously created.
That's why you have
the lotus flower.
As well.
Sorry?
Like with karma, that's probably why.
Right.
You can change it because it's happening at the same time.
At the same time, but the buffer of time is what that delays its manifestation. Like when the fire is being created, you see when you're about to light a fire, when you hit two matches, there's smoke that comes, right? right?
Immediate, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like harbingers of what's about to come.
Yeah.
So it's like the effect is going to come, but it's a buffer when it comes. So that represents the simultaneity of cause and effect. And also Renge, it talks about the lotus flower because in recent times Buddhism has become the symbol, the lotus flower has become the symbol of Buddhism.
Yeah.
Which basically, means that because the lotus flower emerges from such dirt, like a dirty, muddy pond, but it's the most beautiful flower ever. It signifies that strength and victory and joy emerges from suffering, from adversity, from struggle.
And that's like the only way.
That's the only way. There is no other way, right? That's what it signifies.
I love that.
And so that's the lotus flower, Renge. And Kyo is the sound. So the sound of Nam Myoho Renge Kyo awakens that Buddhahood, that potential within you. The sound of it.
Really interesting, because I was going to ask you, like, it's a bit crazy how you just chant these words and you notice such a shift in your life.
Yeah.
What is your understanding of how it actually works?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's a great question. That's the money question. So there are a couple of things. So my mentor, Dr. Daisaku Ikeda, who is one of the biggest reasons why Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism has spread across the world so powerfully and rapidly, talks about how even without knowing the entire meaning theoretically of Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, you can greatly benefit from it.
Yeah.
So he says that just like you don't need to understand the exact mechanics of an engine to gain from driving a car. Right? 95% of the world, they drive a car without understanding how the engine works.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So similarly, you don't need to understand how the engine works to drive a car. Similarly, you don't need to fully understand what Nam-myoho Renge-kyo is for it to deeply impact and transform your state of life.
Yeah, that's so great.
Right? And when you start chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, what happens is that you can uplift your life condition.
Yeah.
That means you transform your inner state of life, and your environment then reflects that change. Right? So Buddhism talks about oneness of life and environment, that you and your environment are one, inextricably connected, and everything happening in your environment in your day is happening in response to your inner condition. So that's why sometimes when you feel really sad or angry, your environment reflects and throws people and events and circumstances that reflect that anger and sadness. So it can spiral out of control because we're not changing our life condition. But on the other hand, when we feel really great joy and clarity and having a blast, the environment throws people, events and circumstances that reflect that. So good things start to happen, very pleasant occurrences. Right? So it talks about how your environment's a mirror. Most people are trying to change things or people in their environment without working on themselves, changing on themselves. That's like, rubbing a mirror and the dirt's on the person's face.
Yeah.
Right? So the clearer the mirror gets, the clearer the dirt looks, but the person thinks it's on the outside, so they're rubbing it in. So when you change your inner life, your environment reflects that change.
So you were saying two things about the words?
Which ones?
I said, what is your understanding of how it works?
Right. So exactly. So this is one perspective.
Yeah.
Right? The other concept is called the 10 worlds. The 10 worlds are basically a Buddhist concept about how human beings are emotional pendulums, constantly fluctuating from emotion to emotion and making the decisions based on that emotion on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So it talks about 10 states of life, 10 worlds. Yeah. So the 10 worlds is basically human beings are emotional pendulums, like going from state to state, morning to evening, and they're making their decisions based on the 10 worlds. Okay? They're making their decision based on the world they're in, the state of life they're in. So they're 10. At any given point, 1 is active and 9 are inactive. Okay? So let's say the 5 lower worlds and 5 higher worlds. The lowest world is the world of hell, which is extreme despair, helplessness, sadness. When a person commits suicide, they're said to be in the world of hell. Yeah? Exists within all of us. World of hunger, thirst for fame or fortune. A person who's constantly changing partners, changing houses, changing clothes, changing cars, right? Changing jobs. That person could be said that their dominant state of life, dominant world is hunger. Constantly wanting more, constantly reaching for happiness outside of what they already have. That's called to be the world of hunger. Okay? And there's the world of animality, where a person's animalistic, like the world of way of animals, very snappy maybe, right? And there's the world of anger, which is self-explanatory. We all are half experts on anger.
Everyone knows that one.
Everyone knows that one, world of anger. Then there's the world of humanity. World of humanity is now we're going to the higher worlds. It's neutral, right? But you're still sort of at the mercy of the environment, right? Somebody gives you a compliment, you feel good. Somebody says, something negative, you feel, phew. So your life condition is still a little shaky, but it's neutral, it's getting better. Then there's the world of rapture. Now we're going to the 5 higher worlds. World of rapture is the world or a state of life where a desire gets fulfilled. The feeling of ecstasy, okay? When you land that international gig as a musician, that helps you tour across the world for 3 months where you're paid. When you make your first $1 million and you buy your mom a car, let's say. Could be various permutations and combinations. World of rapture is basically ecstasy when a desire is fulfilled. Okay, that sense of joyous pleasure when everything is so exhilarating and life feels full, right? But that can leave as fast as it comes.
Yes, so true.
Yeah, it's like a foam on the waves, right? Because it's not absolute, it's not permanent, it's very fleeting.
Yeah.
Then there's the world of learning, where you learn something new. Then you're in the world of realization, it's the 8th world, where you're realizing deeper truths based on something you've learned. Then there's the world of bodhisattva, where you're thinking about the happiness of other people. And you're sort of committed to things outside your bubble or motivated by self-desire, right? So you're above that. And the last world, the highest world, is the world of Buddhahood, which is characterized by freedom, inner freedom, joy, clarity, like an eagle soaring through the sky, right? The world of Buddhahood is the highest state of life, okay? Now it's said that whichever world, emotional state you're in, when you chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, you're transported to the world of Buddhahood within you. You're transported to the highest version of yourself in that moment. So that's why chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo is, and practicing is a daily practice. It's a spiritual workout, morning, evening, which recharges, like recharging your phone.
Yeah.
It's like recharging your inner life.
Yeah. So that's the other understanding.
That's the other understanding.
Magical words.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
Yeah.
So when you started chanting, did it, like lots of things start to change in your life?
Yeah. I think at first you begin to see changes in yourself. Then as you continue practicing Buddhism, chanting, studying, attending meetings, you're able to understand from people what is the significance of this Buddhist practice, right? I think first you start you start seeing changes in yourself. Then you start seeing changes in your environment. Then you start seeing shifts in the people around you, towards you. And then you start to experience borderline miracles. And then as you continue practicing, your understanding of self begins to shift. And then your foundation as a human being changes.
Wow.
And you get so incredibly comfortable in your own skin, unique to your individuality, that everybody begins to notice. And then your foundation begins to change, like deep tectonic shifts within you, right? Whether you like it or not, your attitude changes for the positive. Your inclination towards growing is almost uncontrollably higher. It's unbelievable. And then I think you start attracting good fortune from thousands of miles away. It's crazy.
Love that.
And then I think after a while it reaches a point where you've been practicing long enough. Like this is my 12th year of practicing.
Wow,
yeah.
That's so mad.
I started practicing when I was 19, I'm 32 now.
Mad.
So, and I think it reaches a point where no matter where you go, the good fortune follows you in every area of your life. And even if you don't want it, you can't escape it. It just comes back to you.
Love it.
So your life just keeps growing and expanding. And I think, and then the next stage is becoming the king of faith, where you like the composure, and the indestructible inner life, like Mount Fuji. where you're like this solid mountain and there's swirling winds of karma, of people, of obstacles or adversity or things that are assailing you, and they're just around you trying to shake you, but you're a mountain.
Why do you call that faith?
Because I think faith in itself is about living a life of great purpose and conviction, right? And living with great hope. I think the world lacks hope.
Yeah.
The world gets very easily carried away with what they see.
Yeah. So when you were 17 and you went through this period of like taking lots of drugs, do you know why you were going through that at that time?
I mean, from one perspective, I think it was just my journey of like...
Love that. Just accept it.
Yeah. It was my journey for what it was, I mean, if it wasn't for that, I would have never discovered Buddhism. So I'm deeply grateful to those people, to those habits. I'm deeply grateful to all of that stuff. It's the reason why I encountered Buddhism, which is how I came across my highest self. So in one way, that's my journey. And from another perspective, like, I was like just a young, obnoxious, like arrogant kid who's just like, going with the flow, like a feather in the wind of sorts. Just going in any fucking direction it took me. And it's sad, but a lot of people live their whole lives like that.
That's so true.
So
true.
Yeah, like somebody says something, it affects them deeply. Somebody, and it's like constantly people are pinging off the environment.
Yeah.
That's back to the basic concept.
Yeah.
Oneness of life and environment.
Yeah.
When two energies meet, the stronger energy always influences the weaker energy. And it doesn't matter if the weaker energy is famous rich celebrity, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's why sometimes famous rich celebrities meet a Dalai Lama or meet a extremely awoke, spiritually evolved, powerful energy, and they're just like floored. So it is about it's about human revolution. It's about constantly working on yourself, transforming yourself. And I think people want to change a lot, but they don't have the courage or the clarity to change. They're unable to break patterns, break mindsets. And me included, it's a constant battle. It's a daily battle. It's a daily battle to win over yourself. Understanding yourself is so important.
Mad. So, and you said, what do you think has been a major shift for you over these 12 years, or maybe something that you're dealing with recently?
I think to really believe in your own potential is so difficult, right?
Yeah, man.
It's really difficult because, living by, norms and conditioning and layers of what the world threw at you, like this is how you should live, this is what's possible, these are the kind of options you have, you have. That person might have other options, you have these many options.
Yeah.
That's how the world is constantly slotting people, right? And to believe in that you have infinite potential and you have limitless potential, that I can go from starting a company to running a $200 million company in 3 years. I can. Do you believe that? Do you believe that you can be, opening for Jay-Z in 2022? Do you believe that? You know what I mean?
I feel like also the little things. Like believing that you deserve to be treated with love.
Yeah.
Like.
Absolutely.
Do you believe that?
Yeah, exactly. I think, and of course, there's a lot of unraveling and excavating of inner tendencies and inner patterns that needs to be constantly worked on. But like, self-esteem, self-worth issues.
Yeah.
I think one of the prime obstacles or trouble that people have is just believing they're good enough. In every situation. It trickles everywhere. Work, dreams, parents, partners, siblings.
Yeah.
To believe that you are like, do you feel like you're good enough? Do you feel like you deserve this? It's easy to encourage my friend to apply to Harvard because I'm like, dude, remember in school you got this grades, you were amazing, this, that. You can do this. But if I had to talk to myself like that, it's almost as if all that disappears and I can't encourage myself. A lot of us battle with this. self-inflicted doubt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And in this world, there is a great deal of scheming and duplicity. There is a great deal of betrayal. A lot of it, everywhere. Because like we were discussing earlier, finding truly great human beings is rare.
Like genuine
human beings who will treat everybody equally, who will truly care about the welfare of other people, who will truly put somebody else before them, who will actually think, who would actually put their chips on somebody else's fame and fortune, who's struggling, before putting, all the chips on your future and your dreams. It's important to think for yourself, feel for yourself, act for yourself, and give yourself love. But to understand where the lines between narcissism, vanity, where those lines meet, to understand those lines, is difficult because everyone, again, like I said, everyone is again always looking at their world through the lens of the world they're in, those 10 worlds, and constantly looking through the lens. So sometimes people just don't know that they don't know. And you can't blame them, you can't judge them. So that's another one of the shifts that I feel I've had, where to stop judging people, no matter how fucked up or messed up or stupid or judgmental they are, not to judge them. It's tough because some people can do some really nasty shit to you, and to not judge them is like the way of a sage, man.
It's true.
Having said that, Buddhism is not about getting walked right over.
Yeah, for sure.
Or letting people treat you badly, or like, not standing up for yourself. Buddhism is about justice and, having the courage to stand up for what's wrong and fighting evil. That's very important. That is one of the main primary objectives of Buddhism. So I find myself always trying to find that balance, because as a person, I like to make people happy. And sometimes because of that, people are extremely sweet and mollycoddly on the face to me, but behind me they're just like stabbing me, and I don't even know about it until 6 months or 1 year later when somebody else tells me that happens. So that's why I say there's so much betrayal in this world, and people gotta be careful about how they treat other people, because karma sometimes can skip you and hit your kids. So you gotta be fucking careful. Yeah, people don't know that. People don't get it, right? They think, I'm gonna be fine. Yeah, but like, you're fine. You ripped it. You're famous and rich because you fucked 100 other people up. But what if your kid's born with something that you don't want? You got to deal with that for the next 40 years. So karma won't say, oh, you stabbed somebody, so I'm going to get you stabbed. No, that's not how karma works. Karma, like, okay, the game plan is what is the equal and opposite reaction to that in terms of emotional, right? And deep, like the equal and opposite reaction in terms of the effect that it has on the person. And by the time a person repents, they could have done so much bad that it could really hit their kids, could hit their family. We've seen that all the time. So I think that's the battle for somebody.
So do you think that's something that you're still like going through at the moment with self-esteem?
Oh, definitely.
Believing.
Definitely. I'm asking myself, who am I every day?
Wow.
Every day.
That's a good practice.
It's a great practice. There's so much to uncover, man. There's so much to uncover. There's so much to dig deep out.
And these mantras and chants, they really help you to find the answers.
They help you to fight your inner demons, your fundamental darknesses. It helps you to like resolve inner contradiction, because I think like living at cross purposes with yourself can create a lot of turmoil. Like if your heart wants something else, but your mind's convincing you about something else, like, like your mind's telling you, like, man, this person is not good for me, right? But your heart's in love with them. And I'll tell you another thing, man. Sexual tension can get people thinking about other people who have nothing to do with being in their life. It's a true thing, man. Sexual tension can lead some fucked up people in your life.
That's so true.
So when I chant, when I meet somebody, I'm always like chanting for the true nature of that relationship to emerge. True nature, and it's crazy, okay?
Love that.
It's mad, right? So there have been times when I'm with somebody and I'm Like, all the signs are there for it to be, something's off, but sexual tension, the chemistry, the attraction is so powerful, so overwhelming, you know, and devilish functions come packaged beautifully. Right? They come packaged beautifully.
Love that,
right?
yeah.
They come in ways that you'll fucking open the door and you'll let the devil in a red dress walk right in. You'll let them walk right in. Right? Because packaged, whoa, stunning, right? It's like, but like you can't see it through the eyes of faith, you see it through your own eyes. Which again is muddled by the life condition you're currently in. So that's why rebounds are such a thing.
Not everything is as it seems.
Yeah, don't everything at face value, you know. So I chant, like if something like with somebody and I'm like, I start chanting for the true nature of a relationship to emerge. Like what is actually going on here?
Yeah.
And lo and behold, 3-4 days later, a close friend will tell me a story.
Nice.
About something he saw about her doing something with somebody else, or her talking shit about me behind my back in front of my best friend who nobody told me because they were scared that they don't want to hurt this relationship because they think it's good for me, all that shit. And then finally I'm like, oh, there you go. And suddenly that person disappears from my life. No. So the power of chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo is incredible, it's colossal. I depend on chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo for all my big and small decisions on a daily basis. And I've never gotten let down, not once, never in these 12 years. So it's...
And you do like, the answers come or a bit of both, do you just like let go and...
It comes to you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes to you when you're chanting.
Okay.
Sometimes it comes to you when you stop chanting. Sometimes it comes through somebody else.
You have to listen.
You'll be tuned in.
Yeah.
You're tuned in, yeah.
And what, you said something earlier like, near miracles.
Near miracles.
Yeah, what, do you have an example of like,
I mean, near miracles, I honestly feel is like when really amazing things happen, which you know have never happened in your 25, 30 years of existence, and of that proportion they happen, you're like, fuck me sideways. This has to be something serious to do with this practice, you know?
Yeah,
I know my life, man, before I started practicing. I know what my life is now. I know the difference. Everyone knows the difference. Like if I told you that before I started practicing, I couldn't make a friend to save my life. I couldn't talk to somebody. If you gave me like, here's $200 and just go and say 5 lines to that person and just create rapport and just be nice and normal and have a fun, friendly conversation, I couldn't do it. Nobody can believe me. Because now I'm like the most social, outgoing, fun, fluid guy, and they're like, what the fuck? Like, is that a thing? How does that work? So like, basically your weaknesses slowly start to turn into strengths. Your strengths start turning into super strengths. Doubt turns into hope. Anxiety turns into conviction. And you just start becoming such a powerful force, equal of 1,000 lions. It's ridiculous.
Love that.
Imagine going from 1 sheep to 1,000 lions. Whether people like you or don't like you, they cannot ignore you. You know, that's who you become. Because the premise of this Buddhism is for other people. It's to enable other people to become happy and win. And it's guaranteed victory. You know what I mean? And Buddhism at the end of the day is about being a good human being.
Yeah,
and
sure.
actually caring about the happiness of somebody else.
And that's what I love about Buddhism. It's so like basic. Just be kind
Yeah.
and be, you know.
Exactly.
Be compassionate.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's tough, but like...
It is tough.
It's tough. Like the first thing that, let's say if somebody's troubling you a lot, or you're going through some turmoil with somebody, like an ex or a next, or I don't know.
An ex or a next.
An ex or a next. Or your family or your sibling.
Yeah.
Right, you're going through some stuff, and they're causing you a lot of grief.
Yeah.
The first thing that we do in our practice is chant for the happiness of that person. It's difficult, right?
That's good.
It's tough, because like, first when you start chanting, it's sort of fake, because you're still feeling seething in anger, you're still seething in that resentment, like, how the fuck does this person say this to me? How did they do that to me? How dare they? I'm justified, I'm right, they're wrong, all that shit. You start chanting for them, and then 10 minutes in, 15 minutes in, 20 minutes in, you start chanting for them, and then you're like, you start suddenly remembering flashbacks, good memories, laughs that you had with them. And when your attitude shifts, they shift.
You know what's so crazy? I started doing that, but just like sending prayers out to people.
Yeah.
That were like giving me some kind of animosity. But like, it's so true. It's so strange because you realize that you have so much power. Because then they change and then they come back to you and it's just a completely different dynamic.
Exactly.
It's like, whoa.
I mean, either they disappear or the relationship becomes amazing.
Yeah. And it's like, it's so subtle because you've changed just like your perspective with the way you feel about it.
Yeah.
And you haven't reacted to it.
Exactly. You responded to it basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it is. It's fascinating.
Yeah. And how do you find balance to fit? I like it because it seems like your practice is not like taking over your whole life. You're still very much busy.
Yeah.
Doing your things, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but this Buddhism is not about escaping society, you know. Yeah, it's a smash one.
Love that.
It's a smasher. It's about winning in society so you can inspire other people to become happy and really rock it.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to feel calm and chill and centered on the top of a mountain when you have three other monks with you there. All you do is eat, pray, and clean, right?
Yeah.
I mean, no offense, no judgment to them. They're also serving a serious purpose, but you know what I mean. I mean, like living in a society racked by capitalism, cutthroat competition, prejudice, discrimination, violence, terrorism, you know, fucking all this stuff going on in society.
Yeah.
To live and survive and make a living and to treat people well and to inspire, that is a challenge. So Nichiren Buddhism is all about impacting society. It's not about running away.
Yeah.
It's like running straight towards the challenge and making a powerful determination to win. So it's almost as if the daily morning Daimoku that we chant and evening Daimoku that we chant is like a firm pledge, a powerful determination to win today, to become happy and to inspire others to become happy. And in that process, you also are able to overcome all your weaknesses and drawbacks and shortcomings and really become a solid, stand-up world citizen.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where do you see, I mean, this is a funny question, but I'm going to ask it. Where do you see like your growth going in the future with this practice?
A lot of new doors have started opening up for me. This is my 12th year of practice. I'm feeling a lot of shifts, a lot of changes, but I do predict that as I continue advancing. So it's said that because Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism is very, very powerful, you know, and it enables people to really win, become happy in this world. There will be negative forces and functions that will emerge of equal proportion to obstruct the growth of this organization called the Soka Gakkai.
I feel that.
Yeah, there will be, and I'm expecting it. I'm waiting for it, and it's going to be. They're not going to be small obstacles. They're going to be mammoth-sized obstacles to shut down the growth of such a pure and powerful philosophy across India, across the world. So I expect that to happen, and it will emerge. So for me, I think my my determination is to strengthen my faith and my practice so powerfully that I'm equipped to tackle and deal with that when those obstacles, that they do come in whatever form they might come.
Yeah.
And they will be surprises. They won't be something I expect. That I know for sure.
Yeah.
It's like the faster you run, the more resistance from the wind, right? And if something is true and correct, it will face opposition that might seem valid to the world, but could be just one big smoke show facade to frame.
Yeah.
So these are just like things I'm thinking, but I'm sure as hell they're gonna come up. So I want to build this fortress inside me.
I love it.
You know?
Nice.
And focus on the right things. I don't want to chase dumb shit. You know what I mean? I don't want to chase dumb shit. Like, there's too much of that already in the world. Like, you know, money, fame, girls, all that shit. Like, I'm not interested in all that. Like, sure, it's like, it's part of life, and you gotta keep doing that. But I want to make a fucking long-lasting, great impact in the world. You know. And the thing is, when you're consumed by your immediate environment only, all the time, then your dreams are as big as your environment and the reality that you're steeped in and the people and the things you're surrounding yourself with. So the great visionaries were thinking 20, 30, 40 years ahead. That's how they could invent the light bulb, invent the telephone, right? So that's what I'm constantly thinking, So I really want to create 10 days of value in one day and exert a lot. While, of course, living an amazing, fun, balanced life. But like focusing on the right shit. You know what I mean? Because it's so hard, man, to get distracted. There's so many distractions. And it's almost as like that's like almost like the world's telling you, but this should be your goal. This should be your goal, like.
They're literally everywhere you look.
Everywhere you look, right? It's crazy.
It is. But I think that's why, like you said, it's so important to have that practice to keep coming back to.
Yeah.
I loved it in. I did a podcast with one of my friends, Shade, and she said she works in like plant medicines, and she said the elders always say, you've got to come back to the fire. No matter what happens, just come back to the fire.
Nice. Come back to your center, sort of thing.
Yeah. And like that circle where you're sitting on the fire like this.
Nice.
Yeah. But when you started chanting as well, did you have to change like the people that were in your life?
But they automatically start to change. They start to change.
Nice.
You change, they change. That's the whole formula. Because you can't really change somebody else.
Yeah. No, as in like, were people like that you were friends with before not really resonating, and then.
Yeah. I think like that's the nature of life, right? You outgrow people.
Yeah. I guess
And people outgrow you. So I mean, it is what it is, and the truth is that I started doing my thing, and when your schedule changes, people who are not resonating on that on like your vibe, they'll start to shift away. Like I don't want to smoke 10 joints a day. I don't want to sit around and watch television and Netflix. I don't want to just use all my time chasing pleasure and gratification or fucking basic shit. Like I don't want to just eat, sleep, fucking and die. I don't. I've done that for years. Right when I was like growing up.
so. It just happened naturally.
Yeah, no, but like this began to sort of, that built the momentum within my life to sort of change and transform and sort of build. And it's not like living like an unrealistic life, but it's like choosing your moves carefully.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love that.
Like, if you want to build a fucking massive like Buckingham Palace castle, right? How many hours you put in a day to build that castle will determine how quickly that castle gets built. Simple math, right?
Yeah.
Simple math. If you lay a brick every 4 days, that's what you're going to get. You lay 2,500 bricks a day, that's what you're going to get. So what are you building? That's the question I'm asking myself.
I feel like also with you, it's kind of like those bricks you're building is your practice?
Definitely.
And
my
like,
practice, and then the action I'm taking from my
Yeah.
practice. Because also it's not a magic wand.
Yeah, but I guess also like through the practice, it also helps you practically.
Change, because it ripples into your life.
Yeah.
What happens is like when I chant in the morning, then if I chant for an hour in the morning and I head out in my day, stupid shit that people say or do doesn't penetrate my core and keep me thinking for 4 hours. Oh, but what did she mean?
Yeah, it makes
What
such a
was he
difference.
thinking? It makes a huge difference, right? Because like now I'm unstoppable, I'm feeling invincible. Stupid shit people say, it just like rolls off my back like water. It's not penetrating my core.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not affecting the direction and vision for my day and my week. So I'm like, fuck it, like I don't care. Okay, if and of course with all due respect and love, like dealing with people and not liking like none of that. But just being like, okay, this isn't serving me right now. I understand where you're coming from, but this is not what I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
And I think it's important because if you don't have a strong life force, then you'll always get swayed in the
Yeah.
direction of whatever's taking you wherever. An opinion, a judgment, a criticism, a praise. Then you're always getting taken in that direction. So
It kind of helps you to create.
it helps you to create, it helps you to focus and align. Like that, you know what I mean?
Ooh, like
It's
that.
beautiful, it's beautiful. It's really stunning, it's really stunning. And then people just like, shift. But like, close friends will always be close friends. If my close friend is suffering for 5 years, or if a homie of mine, is not changed anything in his life and his life is stagnant, stuck, I'm not going to abandon him. He's my friend. I'm going to support him, encourage him, inspire him. But if he's trying to pull me into his orbit, that's not going to happen. I want to pull him out of his orbit into an orbit of growth and joy and expansion. So that's the challenge. How do you meet that middle level, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Because sometimes people closest to you are the ones that aren't entirely comfortable with your growth.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Yeah, because they're also not comfortable with their growth.
And they know if you grow, it's going to make them feel even shittier, but they're not growing.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's that tough rope walk.
What? What do you have any words of wisdom that you could give anyone who's like going through this change into finding a practice that works for them?
I mean, everybody has such a unique life and such a special journey, and everybody's on their own path. I mean, I honestly think that people need to just believe in themselves more, believe in their own potential more, and not let the environment or people dictate what they or they cannot do. Because there's infinite potential in this world. So many things to do. Each day is such a great opportunity to create so much. And every day has infinite potential, such like limitless opportunities to do so many things. And I feel a lot of people just end up living a life of mediocrity and compromise. Just because they didn't have the courage to stand up to somebody or themselves. So I think make each moment count and constantly be expanding and advancing and broadening, and be happy for other people for sure. Be happy for other people's successes. People are driven too much by their own insecurities, I feel. So, I mean, I found my philosophy, I found my practice, right? Buddhism is that for me. And I hope that everybody finds their philosophy or their practice. And if it happens to be Namyo Renki, then so be it.
I like it that you said that, because there are so many.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Find your own.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to ask you another question.
Yeah, man.
What does freedom mean to you? It's a big one.
Ooh, it's a nice one.
Yes.
I think freedom to me means dedicating my life to something much larger than myself. Yeah.
That's an interesting one. Love it.
Yeah.
Cool. That's it. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Nothing. Thank you. Thank you for having me on this, babe.
Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully this will become something that will be televised in 196 countries and territories. No, I hope that this becomes something, one of the million things that you do, because I know you like doing a bunch of things, and you're also so dynamic, and you want to constantly be putting so much into something. So yeah, I'm sure this will get big and all the chips it deserves.
It's great. I've really enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, me too, babe. Thank you. Much love.
Awesome.